Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool and this is Gems of War.
And today we're going to be going over Dragonite and how to get it, how to farm it, the best places to spend it, where you shouldn't spend it, where you should buy it, where you shouldn't buy it. Basically an ultimate Dragonite farming guide. Just fired this up all of a sudden, decided to make this video. It's for the members right now, but it will come out to the public eventually, and when this releases, the old members only video from July will come out for everybody else. I think it's Pure Faction 500 when to do it and everything like that. So anyway, the main place to get Dragonite daily would be the dungeon. So you want to do your dungeon every day. My advice is to pick the same rooms every day because it's supposed to be totally random now. We used to have a dungeon tool you could use that would make the odds a little bit better, but the devs got wind of the dungeon tool. They made it totally random now. At least that's supposed to be the way it is. So if you pick the same rooms every day, then you should hit a perfect at some point. And instead of skipping around to different rooms every day, you could make it to where you never get a perfect. The way I do it is pick the same rooms every day, and then, I'm guaranteed a perfect at some point. If you pick different rooms every day, you could just accidentally be picking the wrong rooms every day. So let's go ahead and do this. I think I did the wrong room already. I usually do these three. Oops! Alright, we got a fight. And we got a trap. So that's going to happen a lot of the time. You can't expect to get a perfect more than like once every 10 days, I would say, something like that. So, yeah, you get a perfect. Try to go down to level 20. That'll give you the most Dragonite when you do get a perfect. If you're on like level 10, you're only going to get a certain amount, like probably like 100 or something. But if you go all the way down, you get the max. So make sure you're on level 20 if possible, especially if you're in mid game or late game. But yeah, this is the main way to get Dragonite, would be getting perfects in the dungeon. There's also a dungeon offer, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I really want to go over the two best ways to farm Dragonite first, which would be doing your dungeon every single day, picking the same rooms every single day, and then when you get a perfect, win the fights and get your make sure you're on level 20, get the most Dragonite you can. So that's one way to farm it, just playing the dungeon every single day, pick the same room every single day. If you want to change rooms, wait until you get a perfect. And then if you think like, oh, I've been picking these same 3 rooms, it's not going so well, I'm only getting one perfect every 2 weeks or something, I want to choose different rooms, wait until you get a perfect with your original 3, and then switch to a different, so that way you're not like, oh man, the one I was picking, now it's a perfect, you don't have to feel like that. You're like, okay, I got a perfect, now I can switch. So dungeon every single day would be the best way to get Dragonite, and it's not going to happen, you're not going to get perfects more than like once a week or so, but that's like 100-something Dragonite, it'll add up eventually. Alright, the other way to get Dragonite would be in the Vault event. So all these Vault keys I got from doing the Vault event, and it comes once a month. So you want to be doing that every single time it comes through. It's for 3 days. It starts on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Vault event once a month. So use your Iron Hawks or use your Rowan team. Do Explore 1. Don't get distracted by anything else. Just be killing enemies as quickly as possible with your fastest team. That's it. The goal is to see the next set of enemies, the next set of enemies, the next set of enemies. And if you happen to get a Dragonite Gnome, which is one of the rarest ones, by the way, you have your regular gnomes like the Treasure Gnome, the Soul Gnome, the Glory Gnome, the, Ingot Gnome and all that crap, the Gem Gnome. But those are just the regular gnomes. So, and then you have rarer gnomes like the Cursed Rune Gnome, the Dragonite Gnome, the Gnome-a-Palooza gnomes. Those are rarer. So every time you do a battle for the Vault event, when it's the Vault event, even when it's not the Vault event, but during the Vault event, gnomes have a higher chance of appearing. And then gnomes also have a higher chance to drop Vault keys during the Vault event. So you do Explore 1 as quickly as you can, over and over and over with your fastest team, Ironhawk or Rowan. You usually pick something like Cinemirage or Wild Plains, somewhere you know that nothing is going to like put a monkey wrench in the works. But we can go to my team here. No turns for you. You just do this as fast as you can. Over and over and over and over. And you could get a Dragonite Gnome. Now, every battle it's going to roll, and it's going to say, hey, it's rolling a die. There's a 12-sided die. If it lands on the 1 or the 2, it's going to be a gnome. And then it rolls the dice for that gnome. And it says, okay, if it hits a 1 or a 2 again, it's going to be a Dragonite Gnome. Or a 1, it's going to be a Dragonite Gnome. So it's a very low chance, but it will happen because you're getting Gnomes are appearing more often, so you have a higher chance to get Dragonite gnomes because all gnomes are appearing more often, which gives you more rolls, more chances to get that Dragonite gnome. So you just blow through these as fast as you can, boom, just on to the next one. The goal of the Vault event is just to go as fast as you can, clear as many enemies as you can, as quickly as possible. Don't get distracted by anything else. Just be killing enemies. Just be seeing the next set of enemies, and give yourself the highest chance to see gnomes. Because every fight, it's rolling the dice to give you a gnome or not. And every time you get a gnome, it's rolling the dice whether or not to give you a Dragonite gnome. So you'll get like something like 80 Dragonite, 30 Dragonite, 40, 50, something like that. It's random there too. When you kill the Dragonite gnome, it rolls the dice to, are you going to get 80 or are you going to get 30? You know, so it's all a bunch of RNG, all a bunch of random chance. But the more you do it, and the more you stick to it, and the less you get like distracted by other things, the higher the chances that you're going to see a Dragonite gnome or a Vault Key or a Gnome-a-Palooza gnome or something like that. You just got to keep trying, keep doing it, keep killing enemies as fast as possible. See the next set, roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. So that's the only two ways in the game to farm Dragonite. Would be dungeon every single day, trying for perfects, and then Vault event when they come around once a month, killing enemies as quickly as possible, see the next set, roll the dice, gnome, roll the dice, Dragonite gnome, boom, you get it. Alright, then also while you're doing the Vault event, there's a little strategy with Dragonite gnome. So you'll run a gap, you'll go to your soulforge, you got enough verses to run a gap. So you'll do like 15 minutes of verse hunting, and then you'll run a gap. And then you'll do 15 minutes of verse hunting, and then you'll run a gap. That's how I do it anyway. So you go down to the Gnome-a-Palooza, you run it, and you're going to see all gnomes for 15 minutes. So that gives you an even higher chance of seeing a Dragonite gnome, because now every single enemy is a gnome, so you're skipping one of the dice rolls. Instead of having to roll the normal enemies to see if there's a gnome in the fight, now you're going to get gnomes every single fight. You're skipping an entire dice roll, and now you just got to rely on the gnome dice roll to get your Dragonite gnome. But, you know, you'll do the Gnome-a-Palooza as fast as you can. You know, Iron Hawks, Rowan, something like that. You'll just kill the gnomes as quickly as you can, over and over and over and over. But you want to set a timer. You want to set a 15-minute timer, because in the last, like, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes of the Gnome-a-Palooza, if you happen to see a Dragonite gnome, depending on what level you are, like how much Dragonite you need, how much you need Vault Keys, etc., you could let the Gnome-a-Palooza end. Let's say there's 1 minute left and you see a Dragonite gnome. It pops up. It screams at you. It screams, hey, I'm here. I got Dragonite. And you say, okay, well, there's only like 55 seconds left in my Gnome-a-Palooza. So what you do is you leave the Dragonite gnome on the screen. You don't kill it. You let the music run out. Your timer goes off. You know the Gnome-a-Palooza's over. The music changes back to this music that you're hearing right now, I hope. It's no longer the Gnome-a-Palooza music, okay? So the music changes. I would even wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds after that. Let the gnome sit there. Then you kill the Dragonite gnome. You'll get the full drop. What had happened was when they put Gnome-a-Paloozas into the game, we were getting way too much loot during the Gnome-a-Palooza. The gnomes were dropping their full amount of souls, their full amount of gold, their full amount of glory every single time. And with the way that we do Gnome-a-Paloozas with Ironhawks and Rowan, like, we were getting way too much loot. You know, so they had to put a limiter on it. Think about NASCAR, where they put a limiter on the cars. That way they all have the same chance to go the same speed, and it's just like based on your driving skill at that point. It's a limiter. They put it onto the gnomes, so when you kill a soul gnome, if it was going to drop 100 souls, it's now dropping something like 10 souls. If it was going to drop 500 glory, it's now dropping something like 50 glory. The Dragonite gnome, if it was going to drop 80, it's now going to drop like 8. If it was going to drop 50, it's now going to drop like 5. But that doesn't count once the Gnome-a-Palooza's over. Once the music ends, the limiter gets taken off. And even if you started the fight during the Gnome-a-Palooza, as long as it ends before you kill the gnome, you will get the full drop. So that's a strat you can do during the Vault event. If you see a Dragonite gnome in the last minute, the last 2 minutes, the last 3 minutes even, you can leave it on the screen, no longer kill any more gnomes, wait for the music to end, and then kill the Dragonite gnome, and you will get the full drop. Instead of 8, you'll get 80. Instead of 5, you'll get 50. And you can do that every single Gnome-a-Palooza. Now, it has to work out right to where your you know, you get a Gnome-a-Palooza in the last like 1 or 2 minutes, because you don't want to waste your entire Gnome-a-Palooza. If you see one at the 5-minute mark, you're not going to wait 10 minutes for one Dragonite Gnome, right? Because you want Vault Keys. Vault Keys are the main goal of a Vault event, so you're going to be giving up a bunch of Vault Keys for that one Dragonite Gnome. So you don't want to do that, but if it's in the last minute, it's pretty safe. It all depends on how much Dragonite you need, how many gems you got, how many Vault Keys you already got, how many gaps you already got. Like, if you have a ton of gaps, a ton of Vault Keys, a ton of gems, then you could probably wait 3 minutes for the Dragonite Gnome if it's there. But if you don't, and you still need Vault Keys, you still need gems, you still need Tarot cards, you still need orbs, you still need keys, you should probably wait until, like, the last minute or something like that. And if you don't see one, you don't see one, you just keep killing gnomes. But that's another strategy you can do to get more Dragonite. So those are pretty much the only ways to get Dragonite. There might be some that are in, like, rewards here. Like right here, if your guild goes to a certain level, stage in the guild events, you can get Dragonite here. So being in a good guild is another way to get Dragonite. Some guilds won't even make it to stage 15. They won't even get that 30 Dragonite. So just being in a good guild will get you Dragonite more than being in a bad guild from the guild events. I think it's in, like, pretty much every single guild event. You can get Dragonite in the last few rewards there, if you can make it. But yeah, let's just go over everything here. It's the ultimate resource guide, so I'm going to click everywhere on the screen, and anywhere that Dragonite pops up, I'm going to talk about it. How much do I have right now? Where would it be? Dragonite. I don't know. You can go to the soulforge and look too. If you don't feel like going through your whole inventory, you can go to soulforge, you can hit triangle. I have 4,804 Dragonite, and, you know, that's enough to craft, like, a bunch of eggs. I could do, like, 8 eggs, 9 eggs, something like that. But the main goal of the Dragonite is to get Stellarix and Diamantina, which you can see I have both of them already. So, I know what I'm talking about. The proof is in the pudding. I'm just letting you know what I did to get, you know, Diamantina and Stellarix. And that's what I did. I did Vault Event, super heavy, waiting on Dragonite Gnomes at the end of Vault events. I did Dungeon every single day, trying to get perfects. Went all the way down to level 20, picked the same rooms every day. That's how I got Dragonite. Now, there are ways to buy Dragonite, but some of them are worth it and some of them aren't. For example, one that is kind of worth it is the Dungeon, but what my strategy was with this Dragonite, you know, it's 300 gems a day for 60 Dragonite. So in a week, you're only going to get 400 Dragonite. That's not even one egg for 2,100 gems. So it's pretty expensive. The person that would be buying this Dragonite here would have to have a lot of gems. And B, in my opinion, you would have to already have all 6 dragons. Because if you're buying this every day and you're just getting duplicate dragons every time you open an egg, it's kind of like flushing Dragonite down the toilet. So you wouldn't do this every single time, for every single day, for the rest of your life, as soon as you start going for Stellarix or Diamantina. You kind of wait until you have a certain amount of the dragons, and then you're doing that final push. That's when you buy this Dragonite, when you're doing that final push. Maybe you have 1 dragon left, maybe you have all 6 and you just need the weapons, maybe you have all 6 and the weapons, and you just need like 1,000 for the Stellarix or Diamantina. That's when you would buy it. When it's more of a sure thing and it's actually going to go towards something and not just go towards a lottery scratcher that you're going to hope you get an egg. I never did that. I'm just telling you what I did. That's all I can do is tell you what I did. What I did was I got all 6 dragons, and then I bought Dragonite to get the weapon, to get the final push to Stellarix or Diamantina. I know it takes patience, but yeah, that's what I would recommend there. Get at least 5 of the dragons before you start buying Dragonite. I recommend getting all 6 before you start buying it, because otherwise you're just going to be spending 2,000 gems a week buying Dragonite every week, and just keep getting duplicates. Another place people talk about is PvP. I don't recommend buying Dragonite here. I've never done it. Never, ever, ever. So in the shop, you could potentially buy Dragonite here. It is just not worth it because of the other thing you can buy, which is the books. So right now, yeah, you're having that problem. You want that Stellarix, you want that Diamantina, but as soon as you get it, it's never going to be a problem again. One thing that will be a problem until the end of time, until you stop playing the game, is that you're going to need books. You're going to need books to level your kingdoms. So can I buy these right now? Let's just do it. I'll show you right now that instead of getting Dragonite, I'm going to buy books. I'm just going to buy all these books. I don't really care what I get. You know why? Because I need all of them. Of course, you'd want a purple book or a green book, but I need all of them, so I don't really care. If I get a brown book every single day for 3 weeks straight, I would still buy them. I am never buying Dragonite. I never bought Dragonite. All I can tell you in the PvP, I never bought Dragonite one time. It's only 30 Dragonite for 35 gold marks. That's like, what, 10 Dragonite? I don't know. You could have got books, basically. Like, you could have waited and got books. And those are what you buy with gold marks. You buy books with gold marks, you buy pets with silver marks, period. You don't buy anything else. That's the best way to do it. You don't buy cursed runes, you don't buy imperial deeds, you don't buy monolith sigils, you definitely don't get Kukulkan. Like, that is so many books right there that it's crazy. Like, 25 books that you could have got. So, yeah, Dragonite in the PvP shop is a no-no. Once again, if it's your last push and you only need a certain amount, but even then you should probably wait. It's only 30 Dragonite. Is it really going to make that big of a difference if you buy it or don't buy it? You could get a dungeon offer the next day instead and spend gems on it instead of gold marks, which buy very expensive, very valuable books. You know how much it costs. You ever seen a deed offer from a merchant? It is quite expensive. And you know how many deeds you need to make a book? 50. 50 deeds to make a book. And how much is it every time they offer you deeds? It's like 500 gems or 300 gems or something. So, you know, if you add that up and see how much is it, it's like over 5,000 gems. It's not worth it, man. Books are super valuable, super expensive, and you want to save all your gold marks to buy books, or you're going to regret it one day. You're going to get Diamantina, you're going to get Stellarix. You're then never going to use Diamantina again. You're only going to use Stellarix. And then all those gold marks you spent on the Diamantina are now useless, and you could have just waited longer and got Stellarix the old-fashioned way instead of using gold marks to buy Dragonite here. It's not even a Dragonite per gold mark. It's 35 gold marks for 30 Dragonite. It's just not good. Alright, what else is there? I would love to go over everything here, but that's pretty much everything, right? Like, where else could you get Dragonite? There's never, like, an offer for Dragonite, right? I don't think I've ever seen it. I think there is sometimes, but if you see a Dragonite offer from a merchant or in your daily offers, the only time you should buy that offer is if you're already buying the dungeon offer. So if you qualify, if you have 6 of the dragons, or you have 5 of the dragons, or you're making that final push, or you have a bunch of gems or something, that's when you would buy the offer for Dragonite, because it's the same exact price as the dungeon offer for Dragonite. So there's no difference. It's not like it's cheaper, it's a better deal or something when you get a merchant offer for Dragonite or a daily offer for Dragonite. It's the exact same if you break it down, if you do the math. It costs the exact same as a dungeon offer. So if you're not buying the dungeon offer every day, why would you all of a sudden buy a merchant offer for Dragonite? So don't buy the offers, don't buy the Dragonite offers unless you already have the 6 different colored dragons. You're just making the final push, and then you would do that. But is there anywhere else? I think I've covered most everything. Like sometimes, like maybe the campaign will have Dragonite in it. So let's check that out if I can. Is there Dragonite here? Yeah. So if you buy the pass, you can get a little bit of Dragonite here. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So you get 25 here if you buy the pass. I always recommend buying the pass because I recommend Death Knight Armor, Campaign Pass, Kingdom Pass, and this is one of the reasons. Just get extra loot for doing something everybody's doing anyway. So you get 25 there, another 25, that's 50. You know, there's a little bit in here at least. You get some up top there, a little bit. So what's that, like 70? And then if you buy the extra special super duper one, you can get a little bit of extra, but I don't recommend that. But there's a little bit here, so make sure you do your campaign pass. Make sure you buy the cheaper pass, and you'll get a little bit of extra Dragonite there. I think that's mostly it, y'all. Like, guild events, of course. Being in a good guild and going... Oh, there's one more. There's Underspire, huh? Okay, Underspire. So the 7th boss will give you Dragonite. So you don't want to double it, though, because it's way more valuable to double the 6th boss. Number 6. The 6th boss gives you the big gold knockers, the glory orbs that are really, really hard to get and super rare, and like 1% when you open a chaos orb, it's like a 1% chance that you're going to get that major orb of glory. So they're super valuable, they're really good, they're hard to get. That's kind of the same thing as books or Dragonite. In PvP, you have the option, you can either buy books or Dragonite. And in the underspire, you have the option, you can either use your lantern on the 6th boss or the 7th boss, and it's the exact same thing. You should double the loot on the 6th boss, which is not the Dragonite, and you should use your gold marks on the books, which is not the Dragonite. It's the same thing in both places. Those big gold orbs you're going to need for way longer than you're going to need Dragonite. I can tell you from experience, I have Stellarix, I have Diamantina, I no longer need Dragonite. I still need major glory orbs. I still need books. I needed them before Stellarix existed. I needed them before Diamantina existed. And I still need them after Stellarix existed or Diamantina existed. I needed them before I had Diamantina and Stellarix, and I need them after I had Diamantina and Stellarix. So I'm always going to need books. I'm always going to need those major glory orbs. So play the long game. I think the problem these days is people are trying to beat this game, or they're trying to get achievements. And it's just hard. You can't... You're going to have the most fun with this game if you just play it 2 hours a day, every day. You recognize when you're having diminishing returns, and you stop for the day. You don't try to rush things. You don't try to press things. You don't try to, like, farm things. You just play properly every day. Do all the events properly every day. It should only take you an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you're playing 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day... I hope you're doing, like, PvP or something like that at least, and not something else. But, yeah, I don't know. Did I forget something? You guys let me know down in the comments. Like, in the holiday event, you can't get Dragonite, right? Nope. So nothing there. Journey event, you do. And this is going to happen with most guild events. It's going to be in there somewhere. Is it in there before that? It's at the end on, like, every guild event. So join a good guild, and you'll get a little bit more Dragonite. The campaign had some in it if you buy the campaign pass, right? I think the adventure board never has Dragonite, but if it does, do it. You should do the adventure board every day anyway. Does it matter if there's Dragonite there? No, because you should be doing it every day no matter what anyway. Where else? It's pretty much everything, y'all, right? Legend, do we get anything here, like, from guild? Let's see if we get Dragonite from tasks. Not right there, but we could look, like, collected, maybe. I don't know if Dragonite ever shows up from legendary tasks. I would have to click on every single one of these to see, you know? I wouldn't rely on it. It's not something you would, like, spend a bunch of gold and try to get Dragonite with. I don't even know if it's possible. It's one of those deals. You don't want to do a scratcher. You don't want to be, like, throwing... That's not a good way to get, like, mythics or anything. You want to just, like, you're giving something to the entire guild. You're doing a guild task. You're not expecting to get a certain thing. You're just hoping to get a certain thing. So it's not a good way. See how I didn't get any Dragonite from any of these? So I don't even know if it's possible. I mean, there's places you can buy stuff. I would never recommend buying anything with real money. I just don't think it's a good deal, ever. Except for Death Knight Armor, Campaign Pass, Kingdom Pass, maybe a couple other things, but that's it. I wouldn't be buying things every day, trying to get Dragonite in any way. So I would not spend money on it. You're just going to flush it down the toilet, get a duplicate dragon, and now that money's worthless, you know? Chests, you can't get Dragonite from chests. Any other games? Bounty? Let's check out Bounty. Is there any Dragonite in here? So no Dragonite in single-player events, but you still just want to do them all the time. There's diamonds in there. There's vault keys in there. So you got to do it. And then PvP is just the don't buy it in the shop. So I think that's everything. I tried to, like, think of everything this time, but let me know if I forgot something. Put it in the comments. A place you can get Dragonite that I didn't mention, or like when you should buy stuff and when you shouldn't buy stuff. So just to go over it one more time here. So I went over everything. The main place you're going to get Dragonite is the dungeon. The dungeon happens every single day, so you don't have to wait on it. It happens every single day. So you're going to run the dungeon every single day, do the same rooms every single day. Whatever they are, it can be any of the 3, any of the 6. Just pick 3 and just stick with it. That way you're not jumping around and having bad luck. It has to hit eventually if you do the same rooms every day. You will get a perfect. I don't know how many it's going to be. It's going to be different for everybody. You could get 2 perfects a week, or you could get 1 perfect every 10 days. It should look something like that, though. You should at least get 1 perfect in 2 weeks. You should at least get 2 perfects in a month. You should probably get at least 3 perfects in a month, you know? But something like that. So dungeon every single day. And then Vault Event, when Vault Event comes around, it's once a month now. That's super frequent. You know, just do it right. Just do it right. Every time you get distracted, every time you try to make the fight harder, or you open vault keys during the Vault Event, or you're doing pet rescues, or whatever you're doing other than just clearing the easiest enemies possible to see the next set of enemies. Anytime you're doing anything other than that, you're not getting as much Dragonite as you could get. You know, you got to see more gnomes, you got to see more enemies, you got to get more rolls of the dice so you can try to get those Dragonite gnomes. So while you're hunting versus, using your triple Ironhawk or your Rowan, that's when you're going to see the Dragonite gnomes with like the 80 Dragonite, the 100, the 50, the 30. But they appear less often because you're not seeing gnomes every single fight 4 at a time. But then you're also looking for those verses. You're also trying to get those gaps. You're going to run those. You're going to see 4 gnomes every single fight. That's a higher chance. You skip a dice roll. So now you have a higher chance at seeing a Dragonite gnome. So even if you're just clearing those out, you're getting 8 at a time. You're seeing however many, 10 of them during a gap, maybe 5 of them during a gap, something like that. So every gap you're getting something between like 25 and 100 Dragonite for every gap. And then if you get one at the end, just remember this strategy. Let the music end. Set a timer, let the music end, let it change back to the original music, let the Gnome-a-Palooza end, and if there's a Dragonite gnome on the enemy team and you kill it, you'll get the full drop. So that's maybe one thing you've learned in this video, if nothing else. And then I don't recommend buying Dragonite anywhere until you take the RNG out of it, until you're done with the duplicates. Don't throw Dragonite down the toilet. That's how you're going to waste gems. That's how you're going to have 0 gems. That's the perfect way to run yourself out of gems, is to buy the Dragonite offer every single day. That's the perfect way to run out of gems. Or buy extra torches so you can get to the 7th boss. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to run out of torches. So, or you're going to run out of gems. So don't do it. Like, just wait. Just be patient. I would go after Stellarix first, because Diamantina becomes obsolete once you get Stellarix. And you know, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Once you get Stellarix, just let Diamantina come eventually. Don't really force it. But that's one thing I would say. Don't force it. You know, just be consistent. Play the dungeon every day. Go hard in the Vault Event. Don't get distracted during the Vault Event. You want Stellarix, right? You're buying stuff. You're using gold marks to buy Dragonite. You're running yourself to 0 gems buying the dungeon offer. You want Dragonite, right? Or do you want 1 copy of a pet? Do you want 1 copy of Stinky Beehole, the cat pet? No. Who cares? What's that going to do for you? You know, you could have got more Dragonite if you were continuously doing the fights and doing the Vault Event correctly. You could have got more Dragonite. You could have seen another Dragonite gnome while you're hunting versus. You could have seen another one at the end of a gap and got an entire 80 or 100 Dragonite. So that's mostly what I wanted to say in this video. Vault Event and dungeon is how you get it. Don't buy the dungeon offer unless you already have the 6 colored dragons and you're just making the final push. Definitely don't do the Dragonite in the PvP shop, because you're going to need books before you get Stellarix and after you get Stellarix, so why would you do that? One day you're not going to need any more Dragonite, but you're always going to need books. One day you're not going to need any more Dragonite, but you're always going to need major orbs of glory, or major glorbs of glory. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the ultimate guide to Dragonite. Just be patient. I know it's hard, but you're not going to beat the game in 1 day. You're not going to get all achievements in like 1 month. It's not that type of game. There's diminishing returns built into the game, so you can't do that. You only get 1 dungeon a day. You only get 1 Vault Event a month. You can't continuously run Vault Events every day. You can't do dungeons all day. And that's the places you get Dragonite. So any other place is just expensive. It's like a tax, an impatience tax. So if you want to keep paying the impatience tax and running your gems down to 0, that's up to you, but I don't recommend it. But good luck. I hope you get a ton of perfects. I hope you go do freaking awesome in the Vault Event and get a ton of Dragonite gnomes. And I hope you open eggs and you get different dragons every single time. And good luck. I really hope you get Stellarix. I hope you get Diamantina. But just do it the right way. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your good about the channel, comment below. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.